All right, got a question for you guys. Does your character strengthen or weaken your leadership effectiveness? This is Dylan McCabe with the Limitless Roofing CEO Group and Limitless Roofing Show podcast. And just going to share some challenging leadership insights here. It's something I'm very passionate about, is bringing leaders together, leadership training, leadership development, and all of leadership really hinges on one thing, and that's character. You know, in my undergrad, I got an undergrad degree in leadership, and we studied the servant leadership model, which is you don't lead from the top down, you actually lead from the bottom up, and you serve and empower others. And we learned a framework called the leadership compass. And the leadership compass, if you can just imagine a compass in your head with north, south, east, and west, the true north was character, and east is vision, south is your leadership skills, and west is your relationships. And for an entire year, every paper I wrote, every book I read, every lecture was on leadership, building out that compass. And we talked about when you bring those things together, when you bring character and vision together, you model commitment. When you bring vision and skills together, you motivate commitment. When you bring your relationships and your skills together, you're serving and empowering. And when you bring your character and your relationships together, you earn trust. Now, just think about this for a minute. Out of character, vision, skills, and relationships, there's only one of those that determines whether or not the others are effective. I don't care what your vision is. You may be a goal-setting machine. You may be a great futurist with great plans for your company, your residential company, your commercial company. And you may think, I've got this great plan of how to build a team, how to structure things, comp plans, all this other stuff, marketing, you name it. And if your character is weak, if you're not somebody who keeps your word, if you can't be trusted, if you are doing things behind the scenes that you wouldn't want people to catch you doing, your vision will fall flat. You may be highly skilled. You may be, somebody who has a skill set that's unique in your company. But if your character is weak, maybe you have a vice that you can't stop giving into, whether it's alcohol or something else, and you need to get help with that. That vice, that character flaw, will completely disrupt your ability to use those skills to be successful in business. I don't care what kind of relationship power you have. I run across guys in the industry, being the host of a podcast, it's really cool because I get to network and connect with a lot of guys and gals in the industry. And I meet some people who have a lot of relationships, very well connected, but their character is awful. They have huge egos. In fact, there's one guy that I talked to about being on the podcast, and he asked me if I Googled him before we got on a call. And when I said no, he became offended. We got in a little bit of a debate about why I should or shouldn't have Googled him first, and he hung up on me. It was incredible. And I got off that call and I thought, oh my gosh, this guy's ego, he's so poisoned by his ego and his need for affirmation. His need for me to stroke his ego, his need to be approved by and affirmed by others, which, by the way, I Googled the guy, and like everybody else, it just shows his social links, which Google does with everybody. But his character flaw, his ego, his pride was so extreme, it prohibited him. It completely destroyed his ability to connect with me, and I'm sure ruins his ability to have ongoing relationships with other people. And you and I, we all know people like this, right? Their character, you're going to forget 90% of what somebody says, but you're never going to forget what it's like to be around them. What you remember is their character. You remember what it's like to be with them. You get a sense of whether they really care about you or not. You get a sense of whether they're arrogant or humble. You get a sense of whether they genuinely want to help you in your journey, your leadership path, your path to acquiring your goals, your dreams, the vision you have for your life. And when you get the sense that somebody's got a solid character, that you can trust them, that you can really get to know them and believe in them, and you admire them, well, that's when you follow them. I mean, that's what all effective leadership is in the end. It's just influence. If you want to see a leader, see someone that other people are following. And that's effective leadership. Now, there's a lot of guys in the industry with big Facebook groups, with doing all kinds of amazing things in the industry who have big followings or a large following. And a lot of these guys, thankfully, have solid characters. I've gotten to know quite a few of these guys, and I'm just honored that I get to link arms with some of these guys or get to know them, have them on our podcast. I think about guys like Ryan Groth, doing a lot of amazing things in the industry, training people in sales, amazing sales training strategies with Sales Transformation Group. He's worked with a lot of solid companies out there. He's a speaker at many of the big roofing conferences. But the best thing I like about Ryan Groth is that we had dinner after RoofCon, and I got to know him, and I got to know his character, not just his vision, not his skills as a public speaker, as a sales guy, not his relationships, not all these other parts of his leadership compass. The thing that impressed me the most about a guy like Ryan Groth was when I sat across from him at dinner, I got to know somebody who was humble, transparent, who shared his story of how not only just he became a leader, but how he came to faith in Christ and how that impacted his life, his most meaningful relationships, and then how he came to start Sales Transformation Group and where that company is headed and why. And I got to hear his heart of what he's really about, serving and empowering other leaders. I got to receive his character, and your character is not really something you can just expound upon. You can't give a speech and say, this is my character, this is who I am. People catch it. And usually they catch it without you saying anything about what you believe or you mentioning your values. That's an issue of integrity, where what you say and what you actually do align. That's also a big part of your character. But again, that's not really something you can tell people and just have them accept and receive and take it to the bank. Your character is just transmitted like a radio station. It's a radio channel that you transmit all the time. And people want to be around people with solid character. So I just want to offer this challenge to those of you listening to this, watching this. If you're a leader in a roofing or general contracting company, whether it's commercial or residential, I want to challenge you to focus on the true north of your leadership compass, and that is your character. It doesn't matter how great your vision is. It doesn't matter what your skills are. It doesn't matter how great your relationships are. It all comes back to true north as you lead the way, as you chart a bold course for your own leadership in your company. It all comes back to character. And we all see stories in the news of some of the greatest leaders at the biggest companies. And what we hear in the tabloids before their house of cards falls apart is a severe problem with their character. And that does not need to be you. You want to be known as somebody with a sterling character, not perfect, but above reproach. You want to be known as somebody who other people admire. And guess what? When your character is strong, like the leadership compass, I'm going to do a lot of videos on this and podcast episodes on this. When you bring your character and your vision together, you model commitment. When you bring your vision and your skills together, you motivate commitment. When you bring your relationship and your skills together, you serve and empower. But when you bring your character and your relationships, when those two components of your leadership are strong, you earn trust. And guess what? People will follow you again and again. If your character is solid and your relationships are strong, people will follow you even after failures. They will follow you into battle again if they trust you and your relationships with them are strong. So let this be a challenge to you to focus on your character. If you have any questions about this, if this stirs you up and you want to chat about leadership, character stuff, reach out to me on Facebook. Reach out to me through direct messenger. Would love to talk with. I can talk about this stuff all day long. And this is all we do, is bring owners and leaders together in roofing CEO groups to take their leadership, their personal leadership, to the next level. And so they can work smarter and go farther with their goals in their company as well. All right, guys, this is Dylan McCabe with the roofing CEO or the Limitless CEO group. And I will catch you in the next episode.